This was something that was announced a while ago, specifically from Pete Hegseth. He announced that he basically wants to clear out a bunch of the Pentagon press corps, saying that they have to do some pledge to say that they're not going to report on any leaks, essentially. Pete, problem with this. The reason why there's a lot of leaks happening under your sort of tenure and watch is it's purely just because of the fact that a lot of the officials within the Pentagon don't like you, man. Like, you're the one who did the Rome Total War, like, LARP cope speech, weirdo fucking bullshit talking about how you need fat generals to work out and pass a fucking physical test, and are trying to implement your like dude bro sort of like culture and mentality from the Marines onto the fucking generals and the rest of the general sort of bureaucracy that you've been consistently cutting in the military is not going to ingratiate you for a lot of the people that you need to have in power, like, so you can stay in and not get potentially deposed by a bunch of the fucking officers because you are a drunkard, fucking weirdo, dipshit, and moron who barely was able to manage a charitable organization that had a fucking budget of about 15 grand. Like, you put that shit into debt because, again, you're a fail son fucking Christo-fascist LARPer. Like, and you're just like a stupid fucking dipshit. And it's just like, do you really think that in your mind, in your heart of hearts, that the military and the sort of like heavily bureaucratic structures that are necessary to run an institution that is as large and powerful as the Pentagon is going to like people like you? I don't think so, man. Now, obviously, it's good to have average civilians in as like Secretary of Defense because it means that there is some accountability, more accountability in comparison to that if it was just like another general that was put in that position, right? I certainly agree with stuff like that, but stupid like larpers who want to just do like crusader sort of like Deus Vult memes and shit like that, like Pete Hegseth does consistently, is definitely not the solution to that problem. Like, he cut a bunch of fucking staff for like no reason because he wants the military to be quote unquote less woke. Yeah, dude. For a military that's not seeing as many people want to join up because the U.S. is at war with no one, despite the fact that he and Donald Trump are trying to do everything possible to orchestrate an invasion in Venezuela now. That's the thing that's fucking happening. It turns out a lot of people don't want to fucking join up the military because, well, they don't see a particular reasoning to want to join up with the fucking military. It's so fucking goofy and silly. But yeah, the press is no longer allowed to roam the halls of a secure facility. Dude, like, you're just saying shit like this because you're just like paranoid for whatever reason that like you're gonna get fucking assassinated like fucking Charlie Kirk did, because that's what it is. Like, this is purely driven out of fucking paranoia because he knows that a lot of people within the brass do not fucking like him. Like, we all saw the fucking the audience of generals that were like sitting there with like their palms in their fucking foreheads being like, Jesus Christ, this is our fucking current Secretary of Defense and he's like a 3 IQ fucking drunkard moron. It's just like, okay, bro, nice fucking meme. But yeah, we had the New York Times, the Atlantic, Washington Post, CNN, the Guardian, even fucking Newsmax refusing to sign this sort of Pentagon media rules. Even Fox refused to sign this stuff. The only one that decided to sign the pledge was OAN. And we all know the sort of purpose behind this. They just want to sort of have just state media put out whatever narratives is okayed specifically by Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, essentially trying to destroy any form of civilian accountability of the fucking military. Like, that's the point of all this. But what do we have here? Crackdown on leaks and fake news reporters roaming the Pentagon. Okay, bro. Yeah, totally. What's he have to say here?
Our own civilians who can never be party to leaking. We're setting clear rules at the Pentagon. We're not playing.
The people who are generally leaking are officers and generals and other sort of brass and shit like that and commanders who don't like your fucking policies. Again, You're the like stupid weird LARPer who's trying to do everything possible to sound like a Rome Total War fucking general, and you're doing like your little fucking gallivanting and LARP weirdo bullshit in order to just appeal to this like weird revanchist idea of like, oh yeah, the military is all about being a big, scary, strong, tough macho man. Yeah, and it's just like, okay, little bro, like you're just a fucking weirdo, man, and that's like what it is. Like he's just a fucking weirdo.
Games, we're not allowing everybody to roam around the building. You know that was the policy before, Peter. If you were a Pentagon reporter, you could just walk around the building. No badge, no escort, no nothing. Walk into offices, talk to.
I'm pretty sure they would have press credentials on them saying that they're a part of press. Like, they're not just going to let people in. I don't believe him. Again, drunkard moron who can, either he is a rapist, right? A drunkard moron who's a rapist and also can't manage a $15,000 fucking charity budget.
Anybody who knows where there's classified information. We're making the rules more like you might say the White House. Can you roam the White House wherever you want?
Typically not without getting a Secret Service guy up in my grill.
So we're just normalizing it. Yes, you can.
Again, like, any evidence that this is also a Pentagon sort of policy where they're just, like, I had no idea that the press would be allowed to go into, like, the fucking Situation Room and listen in on stuff like that. Like, these people are given certain security clearances and like top secret clearances and shit like that. That's how it fucking works when you work with the, like, for example, if I wanted to apply for certain government positions, I would have to go get top secret clearance. This is pretty fucking standard and normal, and this is the exact same fucking bullshit that the press would also have to go to as well. In order to be able to report on the Pentagon, they would have to get a bunch of press credentials. No, you just basically want to have it such that a bunch of people are not able to as easily leak within the fucking Pentagon because you have this like paranoid like schizophrenia about you thinking that you're going to get assassinated like Charlie Kirk is. Like, that's purely what it is, by the way. Like, he has this like paranoia, this fear that he's going to end up getting like murked in the neck like Charlie Kirk did. And that's why he's trying to crack down as hard as he is on fucking leaks. If anything, you trying to force the press to do like a loyalty pledge is going to make the situation significantly worse. It's so fucking stupid.
Be in the press area, briefing room, but if you want to move around the building, you're going to have a badge. It's going to be clear. You're going to be escorted when you do so, and we have expectation that you're not soliciting classified.
Okay, like, who's going to fucking escort them, by the way? Like, that's also a question. Who? Like, an armed soldier is going to be forced to have to be on the grounds of the Pentagon all the time in order to escort a bunch of media personnel or something? Like what? How is this exactly going to work? Like, again, you're just mad about the fact that no one in the brass fucking likes you because you're just an ostensible Christian LARPer fucking weirdo. That's the problem.
Sensitive information. I think the American people see things like that as absolute common sense. The Pentagon press corps can squeal all they want. We're taking these things seriously. They can report. They just need to make sure they're following rules.
I'm sure, dude.
Our own civilians who...
Yeah, I'm sure, bro. That's totally what it's all about. Fucking copium as always. Lying dumbass moron. So yeah, there's been basically a fucking walkout of all of the military, like Pentagon press reporters that were currently working within the Pentagon and the Department of Defense. They returned all their passes and they decided to give up their fucking access because it's just like, fuck off, dude. Like, by the way, this is not going to play well for the Trump administration because they're not doing a very good job at trying to court a lot of journalists, right? Similar to how ICE is doing everything possible to alienate, same with Trump, by the way, trying to do everything possible to alienate themselves from police. You also need sympathetic media if you try to go ahead with the sort of like planned dictatorship. You have to have the media be sympathetic and also police be incredibly sympathetic to you as well. Why? Same with the military also has to be sympathetic to you and the fucking courts. and you need all of these sort of institutions to be sympathetic to you because they can band together to fucking stop you. And combined together, the military, the police, and the fucking press have significantly more power than a stupid, weirdo, Christo-fascist, like, LARP movement, and who is trying to self-consolidate more and more and more. And this is, like, a point that Vosh brought up specifically. I thought it was a very good point. How the Trump administration and the broader sort of MAGA movement is trying to further insulate and consolidate its movement when they don't even have total authoritarian control. That is a misstep. Like, they still have to try to do everything possible to be broadly sort of appealing to more and more people. Like, they're trying to insulate further and further because they think that all these people are going to inherently capitulate. For now, they are, but it's going to get to a particular point where people are just going to be fed up with all the fucking capitulation, and there's going to be a boomerang to this insulation where this is basically going to fucking backfire, is essentially what I'm saying here. There's going to be a boomerang to this attempt at it being more insulatory and isolationist within their own sort of movement. Because, broadly speaking, a lot of the people right now are not going to like a lot of the idiotic fucking policies that these, like, drunkards, grifters, and podcasting influencer LARPer morons are going to be doing. Again, like, journalists are quite fucking snooty. Same with a lot of fucking police officers. They are very, very insulated and think very, very highly of themselves. Them being snubbed like this is not going to play very, very well. Dozens of news outlets have lost access to the Pentagon after they refused to sign a new set of guidelines that sharply restrict their ability to report on the United States military. The Pentagon had set a deadline of Wednesday afternoon in the U.S. for reporters to agree to a new 21-page set of rules in order to obtain press credentials and access to the Pentagon's premises. I think, like, even Pete Hegseth was saying that these people also have to do, like, physical training for some reason. I think the only people who signed the pledge was OAN. That's not even Newsmax. Newsmax fucking refused to sign this fucking pledge as well, which is insane, by the way. Like, it's buffoonish. Like, they're trying to further insulate themselves way too fucking early. They're pulling the trigger on that way too early. Like, this is not just going to work out. But yeah, like, a bunch of outlets are saying, like, no, this is not going to work. And the journalists are going to be like, this is some fucking stupid bullshit. And, like, this is just going to be completely and utterly fucking ridiculous. Like, it's so fucking stupid that they're trying to do this right now, where it's just like, yeah, dude, we're going to pull the trigger on the further insulation that we want to do, the further sort of creation of the in-group, let's be quite honest here. And it's just like, okay, bro, yeah, man. This is going to work out really, really well for your movement that still does not have totalitarian control. Because that's when Hitler and the Nazis started to do the further in-grouping and insulation. When the Nazis and Hitler basically secured totalitarian control. That's when a lot of the crackdowns politically on the media and on a lot of the sort of undesirables within the sort of movement began to happen. Was when they had totalitarian control. Trump doesn't have that right now. He's not even an authoritarian. He's a wannabe, but he doesn't have it at the moment. So this is just not going to work out well. Like, this is not going to ingratiate him or, like, Pete Hegseth or Trump to any of these sort of people that he needs on his side, and that is the media and also a lot of the military sort of brass. It's not going to work out. So more than 30 outlets declined to cooperate, including the AP, Bloomberg, Politico, The Atlantic, The Guardian, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, New York, Washington Post, Reuters, CNN, and more. Conservative news outlets like Fox News and Newsmax, both favored by the president, also declined to sign the rules. The Pentagon Press Association, which represents more than 100 news outlets, said in a statement Tuesday that the Department of Defense had started confiscating media badges from virtually every news organization in America. Because again, like, Pete Hegseth has this, like, paranoid sort of schizophrenia, thinking that all the leaks are going to, like, lead to his assassination, when, again, No, it's because of the disgruntled employees that currently exist within the Pentagon because of all of your rather ridiculous flippant policies that are getting a bunch of people fired and are essentially making the mechanisms of the Department of Defense significantly worse. That's the real problem that people are having with you. It did this because reporters would not sign on to a new media policy over its implicit threat of criminalizing national security reporting and exposing those who sign it to potential prosecution explicitly against the First Amendment. Like, don't let any of these like charlatans and freaks ever like I don't know, lie to you and pretend that they're pro free speech. They're not. They would crack down on it instantaneously the first second that they can get hands on total fucking power and control for themselves. They would crack down and get rid of any annals of free speech and free expression if they could, gladly, because with free speech means criticism of the current regime, and we can't be having any criticism of the current regime under this these sycophantic fucking freaks, now can we? Media outlets have announced they will continue to report on the Pentagon, albeit without direct access to the building and news briefings. It's all gonna leak anyways. I'm curious, who's gonna be a part of the press corps anyways? Is it gonna be like similar to, I don't know, the Washington House, not the Washington House, but the White House press corps, where they're going to have like a bunch of like dumbass YouTubers and influencers try to come in? Like fucking Tim Pool is going to be a Pentagon sort of like press corps dude. Like, really? Okay, bro. Like, totally. Fantastic. Pentagon's new rules restrict the ability of reporters to move around the building, engage with staff, and solicit information from sources, according to a Pentagon memo posted online by the New York Times. They also try to restrict the media's ability to publish classified and even some kinds of unclassified information, although this right is protected by a 1971 Supreme Court ruling. The case, New York Times versus United States, protected the rights of the New York Times and the Washington Post to publish the Pentagon Papers at the height of the Vietnam War. Yeah, this was something that was litigated like not that long ago. The Pentagon Papers, keep in mind, detailed a lot of the war crimes that the United States military was carrying out within the Vietnam War, such as the bombings of like Laos and fucking Cambodia to try to go after the sort of jungle access ways that the Viet Cong were using to try to attack the United States of America, because they were invading Vietnam and they were not wanted there. It should be fairly obvious why. And also, like, same thing that's going on right now with what the attempted war on fucking Venezuela is. They want to make it such that the press corps doesn't ask a lot of potentially difficult questions for the administration to potentially answer. They just want to basically have their little secret war with Venezuela. That's purely what it is at the end of the day right now. It's all just an attempt to justify the fucking current ginning up of the war drums to go after Venezuela, because they think Nicolas Maduro is like a fucking narco-terrorist or some shit. It's so fucking stupid. Previous guidelines from the Pentagon fit on a single page. They primarily concerned protocols for entering the Pentagon premises and storing personal property, according to another document shared by the New York Times. The changes to Pentagon reporting rules were first introduced by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, a former Fox News host, in September. Again, like I said before, because he's like a fucking paranoid little freak. That's what it purely is. The fact that he also had a bunch of like signal chat leaks, that made him look really, really bad, because again, the Trump administration and the Republicans were trying to do another illegal thing, talking about highly classified sensitive information on an app that is not approved for stuff like that, especially with like people like Steve Witkoff, who were in Russia at the time, who could have potentially gotten those plans over Signal and leaked it to the fucking goddamn Houthis specifically. And there could have been some consequences to that, but that's a whole other fucking sort of deal. It's all about just these people want to conduct their illegal, unpopular fucking wars in secret where people can't have any accountability for their actions. That's purely what it is. Like, these people don't give a shit about any of that. And the fact that Pete Hegseth is having constant fucking leaks because of a fuck up that they did, specifically letting the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic on that fucking Signal group chat leak. That's why he wants to try to crack down all these fucking leaks as much as possible. Like, that's purely what it is. bro is just salty about the fact that he's a dog shit fucking Secretary of Defense, and he's only just put in there because Trump can easily blackmail him and easily have a bunch of bullshit on people like fucking Pete Hegseth. That's purely what it is. They were met with immediate criticism because they appeared to make journalists legally liable for reporting on the Pentagon. A revised version of the rules toned down some of the language, but media outlets say they still violate their constitutional rights to freedom of speech and freedom of the press. Dude, the fucking, like, if these rules do go through, and it seems like they are going to go through, the lawsuits, because people are just going to walk out, and all of these press outlets are going to sue the fuck out of the administration for this, and I don't think they're going to win that. Like, they're going to get fucking smacked down, because it's a blatant violation of fucking freedom of the press. It's so obvious. The Pentagon played down media concerns in a statement on Monday. The policy does not ask for them to agree, just to acknowledge that they understand what our policy is. This has caused reporters to have a full-blown meltdown. Okay, bro. Crying victim online. Okay, bro. We stand by our policy because it is what's best for our troops and our national security of this country, said Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell. Yeah, it's so fucking goofy, man. Like, that this shit's fucking going down. Again, this is not going to work out for Pete Hegseth like he thinks it is. It's simply just due to the fact that it's just like the idea that, like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to do all of our secret wars and bullshit without anyone ever looking into us at all whatsoever. We don't want any media reporting on this at all. We just want people to suffer while we're doing all of our illegal wars and bullshit, and give a bunch of money to people who we have that are friends within the defense industry. It's just like complete LARP fucking cope tier bullshit from like a crusader LARPer like Pete fucking Hegseth. And it's all because of his own fucking paranoia, because he feels like he's probably afraid of the fact that he's going to get deposed by a lot of the staff that he fucking angered because he fired them all randomly for some fucking reason. But yeah, like, I don't think there's really much else to say besides Trump. There's a reason why shit like this is not going to work out for you, especially at this stage, when you have not done the sort of like full totalitarian takeover of the United States of America. So personally, yeah, you guys should keep trying to do stuff like this, because you guys are going to get sued into oblivion and you're going to lose those fucking lawsuits. I don't think there's really much else to say besides that.